Welcome to the Impact Maker's Journey from Passion to Profits, the podcast showcasing heart-centered coaches, experts, and energy healers who are on a mission to change lives and create meaningful success doing what they love. I'm your host, Wendy Vaughan, business success coach and founder of Impact Maker Coaching. And I've got to be honest, the path from passion to profits is rarely easy, but it's always filled with growth, clarity, and surprising rewards. Now, each week I sit down with inspiring impact makers who have turned their knowledge and wisdom into thriving businesses that are making a meaningful difference for others. I will explore their personal and professional journeys, how they found their calling, and how they continue to stay aligned with their passion along the way. So if you're here to expand your vision about what's possible for yourself, you're in the right place. So join me as we discover the positive ripple effects created by today's guest. All right. Hi there, everyone. I have as my guest today, Isla Reddin. Now, Isla is a certified coach and parent-teen mentor who helps parents to reconnect with their teens when bonds are stretched or broken and conflict has become the norm. So welcome, Isla. I am so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you, Wendy. I am thrilled to be here.
Yeah, and I am really looking forward to diving into better understanding this work you do, as well as just discovering a little bit more about your journey as an entrepreneur. Because from what I've seen after talking with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, is that everybody's journey is just a bit unique. We all have these different moments, right? When we launch into this crazy world of entrepreneurism. And the journey typically includes lots of opportunities for what I call personal growth. Do you agree?
Framing it like that definitely puts
with the air quotes, personal growth. In other words, brick walls, scab knees, So let me ask you, do you feel like you are just the same person now as you were when you started out on this journey?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, there's stretching, there's growth, there's, and like I said, business development and personal development pretty much go hand in hand. And the journey from passion to profits, that is not easy. But the thing that seems to be the same for all of us is that vision, that cornerstone of just making a meaningful difference for others. Just that passion to make that difference and help others to experience a better life. So I'd love to hear a bit about your journey as an entrepreneur. So curiously, how long have you been a certified coach and parent-teen mentor? And if you could, just indulge us, what prompted you to pursue this passion and become an expert?
So the certified coach, I got my master's in coaching, and that goes back to 2008. And that was as a result of having my first startup in education, K-12. And I wasn't a teacher, so I needed some credibility credentials. And that's what took me down the coaching path.
I see.
And today, because I'm, my passion, truly where my heart is helping parents be able to create a relationship that is sustainable and growth and development for their kid,
sure,
their teenager. That piece actually was part of my own journey with my younger son in his teenage years.
Okay.
And having a very, very challenging time with himself where I felt I was failing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Been there, done that.
And yes. And I was surrounded by what I believed were really myths of this kid will grow out of it. I just have to wait and it'll all be okay later. And my heart, I knew that was probably not really true. And the moment, the before and after, right? So the moment was a phone call from the mother of one of his friends. he was studying with her after school. He was in high school. He was 14, 15. And the mom called to say, I think there's something really going on with Carrick. Can you help me understand more? He seems depressed. He's sad. There's something going on. And it literally took my heart out of my chest, because she was the head emergency room nurse at the local hospital. And she was calling to say she was worried.
Wow.
She'd seen it all.
Right.
I was worried, and now she was worried, and now I was panicked.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So
my moment.
Yeah, that was a big moment. And so you dove in then at that point to what? Find out, get knowledge, get support. Did you like a little bit about what did that path look like then?
So at that time, it was, I've got to walk alongside him so carefully now. I've got to be watching everything, but I hadn't yet done that deep dive. I read all the books. I consumed anything I could. To be honest with you, it wasn't what helped me. It gave me more knowledge, but it didn't help me connect theory or knowledge to what was I going to do with this child, this connection. It was once he'd left home that I did my deep dive, and I went studying relationships, neurobiology, what was happening developmentally, et cetera,
right?
Because I knew everything I was being told was wrong, and I needed to know what was true.
Right. Or I don't know if you experienced this, but I certainly did. In looking to other parents, then they're like, he's just a teenager. That's just what teenagers do. Yeah. And just as I just felt deep down, I'm not buying that.
Right.
I'm not going to let this just go by, So yeah, I totally relate to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so obviously fast forward, you really leaned into this focus, this specialty of working and supporting other parents. And so how long has that been now that you've been focused in this area of expertise and providing this support?
So this specific area is actually relatively recent. It is 4 years of this. I was coaching inside universities and coaching in corporate, so coaching managers in corporate and Fortune 500 companies, some of which I'm still doing. But this particular piece of it became so important to me as a result of a conversation with that same son of mine. Summer of 2020, and it came to me that I was in a position to really help moms, parents. And I had a conversation with him, and I said, what do you think about this idea? And so he became my biggest cheerleader, and he is the one who really put me on this path.
Wow. Oh, I love that. So it just really came full circle.
It came full circle.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is just amazing. I love that. So, so as I mentioned, the path from passion to profits, which means turning your passion into a business where you're getting clients and having that ease and flow, and it's providing that income and that financial stability. Right. That's not easy. So looking back, basically, 4 or 5 years, 2020 hindsight, is there anything that you would have done differently to build your business faster? Again, just 2020 hindsight, because when we're in the middle of it, then it's just, but just curiously.
I would have figured out earlier how to get myself physically in front of parents, because the know, like, and trust factor that is a part of all of our journeys as entrepreneurs.
As entrepreneurs, yes.
That is amplified when you're dealing with relationships and you're dealing with something as precious and as sensitive as what's going on inside a family.
Right. Yeah. So getting in front of people sooner. I love that. Yeah, that's powerful for any expert who's selling their knowledge and wisdom.
Mhm.
Because that is
Absolutely.
the magic. That is the magic when you have that presence with them and can respond, on the spot. So yeah, it's powerful. Even though we're in the digital age and we can reach millions and billions of people through the internet, the power of being right there in the same room with people is just irreplaceable. So now, and I know obviously, as we talked, your specialty is working with these parents who have these teenage young adults. And you mentioned this a little bit in talking about your story, but what typically are common misunderstandings, myths, incorrect beliefs that these parents have that keep them stuck in this level of struggle, despair, frustration, and they feel like just things, won't change?
The piece that I learned that I bring front and center of all the conversations I have with parents is the mismatch between a parent's expectation of their child and the child's ability to actually deliver on that expectation. So the myth that an adolescent is just an adult, a younger version of an adult, is completely and utterly incorrect. It's like we've 3 phases of development. We have childhood up to 10. We have adolescence, which is the development from about 10 to 25. And then we have adulthood. And it's all about what's going on in the brain. And that's what parents, they've heard this idea of developmentally, kids are not as far along as we think they are, but we have no understanding of how that translates into day-to-day living.
Well, yeah, because it's like society beckons us to treat them like young adults, right? And I think the kids want that as well. They want to have autonomy. They've got the keys to the car now, it's like they're acting like dad, they're acting like mom, and they want to be able to feel like adults. So it is a fine line between understanding their children, acknowledging that they're not, treating them like adults, but not over expecting. And that's a mishmash for both of us.
You're absolutely right. For both parent and teen, it's really, really complex. And it's about changing your parenting style to match the developmental ability or what's going on with your child. And nobody ever explained that to us. I mean, we sort of get it in the toddler years.
Sure.
We don't realize that exactly the same, if not more, development is happening in these adolescent years. And nobody'd ever told us. So we're dealing with this amorphous, well, you should do this. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and I think another myth or misunderstanding, which we alluded to, is that it's just a phase. They'll grow through it. Just let them go in their room, let them slam the door. It's just a phase. That, to me, I would like to think is that it's a phase is a myth. Isn't that like a cry for help in my?
100%. If you look at the statistics right now of our young people and the mental health challenges there, you have statistically 22% of the adolescent population that have either talked about or actually attempted suicide. You have statistics here that are terrifying. You have 41% of high schoolers who say on a regular basis they're lonely, they're disconnected, they feel rejected, they don't know where they fit. We have an epidemic.
Yeah, and they can act like they feel like they fit, but they don't.
Right.
So that's, again, that layer of mystery, which takes that tremendous amount of trust for a teen to be able to open up and say, I feel like I'm out, or lost, or, because that right there is admitting weakness, or you don't want to just disappoint the parents, or a lot of things. Like we said, it's so complex.
It's so
So just
complex.
curiously, Isla, when it in your experience, and obviously you have years of personal experience as well as professional experience, what's going on for these parents when it comes to their family situation with their teen, their relationship? What typically prompts them to say, enough is enough. We need to fix this. We need to fix this. What is that tipping point? What is that common thing where people say, you know what, this is too much. It can't be just this way.
Yeah, I think it's super good question. And I think that each family will get to that tipping point a little bit differently, right? Yeah. There isn't one size fits all. And I have worked with the parent who really feels like they're losing their connection and they're worried sick that their kid is not going to come to them where they're in trouble. And I've worked with a family where the kid is in terrible trouble. Mm-hmm. And they have not seen that the breadcrumbs were being dropped for months. But right. It seems like suddenly we've gone from everything fine to 2 months later, we've got the kids disappearing out the window, running away, not coming home. I mean, right. That didn't happen overnight.
Right.
But it does vary a lot. But I think one of my goals is that we can, so to speak, go upstream a little, that parents can, if you have a sense that there's something that's not quite right, go ask for help before it gets to crisis. You know?
Right. And I don't know if this is the case for others, parents, but my teens like really resented me, or it created more of a rift if I like, hey, we need help, and this is a problem, then they felt exposed almost. So again, it's just a really tricky time in that evolution, that maturing, that transition. So if you could just, I know what the situation has been before working with you. Well, maybe here, let me just ask you this. Can you share a story of maybe a family that, was living their life, and you fill in the details, and they chose to work with you, and then what was their life like after? Can you just share with us a story, please?
So a family that came to me, and their son was 16. And interestingly, although I work with parents of both boys and girls, mostly it's boys. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether that's because I raised boys. And so kind of by default, parents feel like I can connect more easily with them and their journey, or just it's boys get into trouble more frequently than girls. But this particular family, the situation was that the father and the son were absolutely not communicating at all. And it was like they were from different planets and they could not figure out how to communicate. And what it was doing was putting so much pressure on the rest of the family dynamic. And he wasn't completing his assignments. He wasn't going to school. He was literally going in the morning and then disappearing downtown with his friends at lunchtime and not coming back. He was one of the ones leaving out his window in the middle of the night. There were a lot of things that were going on, and every time they tried to tackle it, he would just shut down or yell or whatever. Now, right. In that particular situation, when I got involved, what we were able to do was we were able to go back a little bit and look at the fact that this child had some health challenges back in his earlier childhood years. Things that had probably some kind of processing and developmental issues that went along with it. And therefore, believing that he was going to be able to handle everything the way they expected him to, was actually not fair to any of them. And so when we went back and we started looking a little bit at the fact that come 9 years old, challenges at school, he was dyslexic, he had some ADHD diagnoses, and therefore some of the things that eventually started playing out, being with bad friends, having all kinds of challenges, not only at school, but socially as well.
Right.
Because I do so much work in this area of relationships, what I was able to help them see was the fact that his friends were basically his lifeline to him, if they were his identity.
Mm-hmm.
By trying to remove those friends, they were creating more of a problem. What they needed to do was create the connection. And that's what we did. We went back to, how are you talking? Are you being curious? You can't keep asking why questions. You can't grill. Use humor, be curious. Let's change the dynamic. Let's find a different language, different words that are going to meet him where he is.
Interesting. And so over time, not overnight.
Sure. Over time, the trust got built again, because what had happened was that there was no trust on either side. The parents didn't trust him because he didn't follow through. He didn't trust them because he felt that they were being very harsh with him, that they weren't understanding him. Right. So it was about rebuilding trust. And that came with slowly creating. What I actually ended up doing was writing scripts for the parents so that when they wanted to tackle a topic,
that's huge. That's very helpful.
They would be able to open the door to something where he wouldn't shut down and they wouldn't feel they were walking on eggshells. Mm-hmm. Over time, everybody was able to switch the language a little bit. So they were able to talk to each other with a lot more compassion and understanding. Wow. And really stop explosions. And it worked. And it worked. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. That's huge hope for all of our listeners with teens, right? It worked. Yes. It wasn't just some, attempt, but that kind of a protocol. And really what I'm hearing is you're quite intuitive. You can create or rediscover the breadcrumbs, as you use that analogy, and kind of track that back and pinpoint things, and then re-engineer maybe how to shift the communication to really foster that connection. So powerful. So what do you want parents and teens to know? Is there a golden
my big
nugget
thing is
here?
Nobody's broken.
Okay.
Everybody is doing the best they can with what they have.
Yeah.
Everybody, no matter what the behavior is, or no matter how upset or frustrated, everybody gets with everybody else. If we can step back and realize that we're all just doing the best we can, but we have challenges in understanding each other. We don't put ourselves easily into other people's shoes. That's what I help. I help parents do that, so they can understand more with compassion what's going on for their child. And then they can meet their child. And that's what actually changes it. That's what changes it. Your child doesn't change for you. You change for your child.
Yeah, that's powerful. And sometimes a hard pill to swallow, but understanding that this is how that transformation works, and just knowing and trusting in your process is huge. And obviously you're very passionate about doing this work, which I love, because what I've seen over and over during the past 7, almost 8 years now of coaching other coaches and experts is that frequently the frustrations and challenges of building a business, plus the inconsistent results of being able to attract clients on a regular, effortless basis. They're spending all their time doing business stuff instead of the actual coaching. All of that really dampens that original passion, and that clarity and that spark and that moment when it's just like for you and your son, it's like, should I? Yeah, you do need to do this work, and venturing out on a mission. But the business building aspects can be quite a struggle, but it's really not necessary, which is why I love doing the work that I do as a business coach, is because I know that without a shadow of a doubt, with the right strategy, every coach and healer can have that thriving, passion-driven business. And just the same as with you, that with the right approach, every family can reconnect and have that deeper relationship based on trust. So I'll just turn the spotlight on you. What is your secret to keeping that passion alive for serving these parents, these families?
Great question. And I have to admit too, there are mornings that I wake up and go, this is so hard.
Because it is trying work. Oh my gosh, you're stepping into the fire.
Yeah, it's hard. And as you say, I think for me, it's separating the business aspect of it from what I believe is both the need and the gift that I've been given.
Mm-hmm.
And I have honestly tried several times to walk away from this. My first business was 2004 in K-12 education. I've been doing this with some level of hat on, some type of hat on, for a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's over 2 decades.
Exactly. When something won't release you, you know you're made for it.
That's the sign, so right?
I think that's what is. I've tried to let it go several times, and it keeps coming back. This is what I'm here for. I know that beyond any shadow of doubt.
And obviously, witnessing that transformation is pure gold. And I believe that helping people to achieve those new levels of peace, happiness, connection, joy, even financial success, right, creates a huge ripple effect. Yeah. It's truly infinite, in my opinion. And one of my mentors early in my entrepreneurial journey was Mark Victor Hansen, the co-author for the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Yeah. He was he and Bob Proctor, I should say, created a mastermind that I was a part of. It was called the 3% Club. And oh my goodness, talk about, because we were in the room with Bob Proctor and Mark Victor Hansen, about exuberance, the genius, the vision. It's just like contagious, right? That's the kind of contagion you want because they're true, passionate visionaries. And one of the things that Mark shared with me, and I'm sure tens of thousands of others, is he said, Wendy, you really need to have what he called a big, hairy, audacious goal. Something that just fuels your passion, something that's bigger than you, something that you're a part of that's bigger than you. And it will help you just get over all these little bitty speed bumps. And so ever since then, through my entrepreneurial journey, which I started back in my mid-20s, I've had various big, audacious goals. I don't like the word hairy, but I'll honor Mark, but big, audacious goals. And my current one is with being a business coach to coaches and healers, is my vision is to raise consciousness within humanity, which is why I'm passionate about supporting visionaries and servants like yourself, because like I said, the work that you do and those others who are dedicated to making those meaningful differences really does create a ripple effect of awakening. People realize, what? We don't need to keep having this battle with our kid. There's got to be a better way. We don't need to continue to struggle. And all these different iterations. And you allow people to step into that new reality. And it is an awakening. So the more and more people that wake up to what's truly possible creates an infinite ripple effect that truly does make the world a better place. So I'm going to turn the camera now, the spotlight on you. No pressure or anything at all. Do you have a big audacious goal? We'll add the word hairy just for Mark Victor Hansen, but do you have a big hairy audacious goal or a vision for yourself or your business or?
Well, mine is actually kind of, it's more global. And that what I want to do is I want us to have a movement that changes the narrative around the teenage years, what is happening during this period of life for our kids that turns it from difficult, painful, we've got to get through it, it's heavy, it's work, which is the way that it is perceived by society today, and turns it into a joyful, celebratory, we are raising the next generation and we can do this if we commit to what their needs are and we see it together as a community. And that's what I want. And I want it to be something that is adopted by the United Nations.
Ah, I love that. Yes. Amen to that. Absolutely. Having raised 3 boys and what I say, we survived the teenage years, I would much rather have worked with you. I'll just put it that way. I wished I would have discovered you about 10 years ago.
Oh, I wish I would have discovered me 10 years ago too, Wendy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I love your vision. So thank you for casting that, because that is what is holding that vision, is what creates then the doors that open and the catalysts and all that. So, well, Isla, I believe that you have a gift for our listeners. Is that correct?
I do. And
can you share a little bit about that?
Well, I think what I want for moms and dads, for parents, is just that they feel empowered to have the right kind of conversation, that they don't get stuck in, oh my gosh, I'm on eggshells, I can't approach anything. So my gift is really, and I know that you're going to kind of put it into, make it available to everybody here, but my gift is really being able to have people think about, this is how I can approach my child. This is how I can actually start to have improved conversation. Powerful.
Yes. I think it's the 3 simple ways high achieving moms can spark real conversations with their teens.
Exactly.
Right. And I love the fact it's 3 simple ways.
Yes.
And sparking and real conversations. That sounds very doable. So I love that. Thank you so much for putting your wisdom into such a valuable resource and a gift to our listeners. So yes, look in the show notes and you'll find the link to that gift from Isla. And Isla, this has just been so great. I have so much enjoyed hearing your story about your journey as an entrepreneur and the promptings and the path that unfolded and the tenacity and courage that you've fostered to continue down this road. You know, when you tried to leave the road and it came back, you were like, no, this is your road. So thank you so much for sharing that and for the work that you do and really broadening our view, expanding our view for what type of happiness, connection, and truly the gift of a relationship that truly is possible for parents with teens. So thank you so much for your time and the work that you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
All right. Well, the real life transformations facilitated by experts like my guest today are truly priceless. I mean, happiness, joy, peace, love, right? These are all what each of us ultimately strives for in life. But becoming a sought after and well-paid coach or energy healer is often challenging, overwhelming, and frustrating. So if you're a heart-centered coach, expert, or energy healer who's striving for more ease, flow, and abundance, well, I've created a special gift just for you. So check out the show notes. All right. Well, this is Wendy Vaughan signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to join me for my next episode where we'll be inspired by yet another impact maker's journey.